tonight's melanin. So let's talk about what was that light that I was heading towards. And if you haven't seen my other video prior to this, please check out my video about my near-death experience, and that will explain to you what I'm basically talking about. This topic is going to be all about God and the collective source of all souls and where we come from. I want to give you all the information I have because I feel like that's why I came back. I did not reach a point of understanding and wisdom within me and then just take it with me and go to the next level. I came back in order to share and be a guide for others and to help them out of their suffering and their questioning and why are they experiencing some of the things that they're experiencing in their life. I am here as a healer, as a guide to help them remove themselves from these lower states of consciousness that we become prisoners towards. And I was there for a long time. And I figured out a way how to get out of it. And so now I am here to help others reach a point of connecting with their higher selves and reaching outside of their current situation on Earth. So what was that source of light that I saw? What was that? In my understanding of what I saw a tunnel or a doorway into the collective unifying field of all energy. And it is experienced on a physical level as light when you are outside of that source. You will only see it as light. That's why a lot of near-death experiences are all about coming towards light. The light itself is the creator. And this is where it gets very complicated. It's hard to understand at our level of experience right now. But light itself is the waves and the frequencies and the vibrations. And so this is a sentient light source. And if you can imagine all of the souls on this earth and in the universe, in their most pure states of awareness and loving selves, all collectively coming together as one, that is what this source is. It is the purest consciousness state of all souls. So as the yogis said with their wisdom, this is something kind of known in the yoga practice of Hinduism, is that God is playing hide and seek with itself. So we are all points of consciousness that is trying to get back home. So in a way, it's a game, it's an experience. And what we realize is that when we have a near-death experience like that, we really are all part of the collective. We really are all God. There's nothing outside of ourselves. And when you get to that point of realization, that's when you can kind of take control of your life and you can start to manifest what it is that you desire and wish to see. You become a living God on earth in a sense. You are not necessarily equal to the collective as an individual. You will never be, but you will have the same understandings inside of you that you are in control ultimately of everything that you think that you're not in control of. And so it is a really amazing place to be at. And this is what it truly means to have that Kundalini awakening. The Kundalini and that great serpent of light rising up the spine symbolizes when all the chakras align and balance within. And what that truly means is when all the levels of your consciousness align. And all of the emotional barriers and obstacles that were in your life, kind of that hide and seek game. So whatever hide and seek game that you decided to play with yourself, when all of those are removed, all those obstacles and barriers are removed from your life, that is when you have this Kundalini awakening. And all that really is the realization that you are God. that you are here to experience yourself as a limited being, but you are actually truly an infinite being and pure consciousness. And you're only experiencing yourself as a physical form for a temporary while, and everybody else is. But there's this hide and seek game that we play with ourselves. So those who do evil on this earth, they are far from their realization of their true selves. They're not a reflection of the pure state. Okay? We do not have a creator that creates evil, terrible, disastrous things happen. We have a creator that creates, through its mind, the ability for all souls to experience what they wish to experience. And if you put the work in and you seek for the truth, and you're a seeker, you're passionately curious, as Einstein was quoted. He didn't say he was a genius, he said he was a passionately curious person. If you are a passionately curious person, you will find everything that you are looking for. You will find all those answers that you seek for. And those who do evil on earth and end up in jail, or, don't end up in jail because we have a flawed, justice system, they are not living the true potential of who they really are. They don't see it yet. And maybe this is not their lifetime to do so. But eventually, you get to that lifetime where you're kind of done with playing that hide and seek game with yourself, and you're ready to be a full, powerful being playing out a physical experience. And this is what the elves of Tolkien represented. Galadriel, as one of the oldest elves on Middle Earth, she represented that she had all the knowledge within her, all of that information about the creation of Valinor and what happened during the times of war. She was a powerful force of manifestation. That's how she was able to, battle dark entities, and that's how a lot of the elves were able to do that. So when humans get in touch with that part of themselves that is a powerful source of creation, you can walk around as a god or a goddess. And it's not that you worship yourself. You don't worship yourself. What you do is you look back and you observe creation all around you, and you admire it, and you love it, and you fall in love with the creations of others, because you are not yourself only God. Everybody else is. And this is where things get very complicated and very beautiful. But there's a diverse type of creation that's playing out. And so you're playing hide and seek with yourself as others are playing hide and seek with themselves. And it's kind of about, well, who discovers their true selves first, in a sense. People who discover their true selves first, they have a responsibility then. They have a responsibility to start to awaken others, to be that alarm clock, that way shower, that awakened soul that starts to guide others. Because once you awaken and you see other souls that are still asleep and they're still in trauma and they're still suffering, you become very much like the Buddha, who, when he awakened and he went outside of the castle and he had this kind of sudden realization about, his own enlightenment and who he was, he decided to actually teach others how to alleviate suffering. Everybody can get to that point. Some souls are just simply not going to look for that type of life path in their experience right now. But if you are, like me, looking for a way to help others alleviate themselves from suffering, then I am happy to, help guide you in that. And I hope that as you are watching my videos, I am affirming that possibility within you, that you are being called in this lifetime to awaken to your true self, to your true God self, and to help others awaken too. And I believe that once everybody awakens to their true selves, This is when we change the dream together, the collective dream. This is when we have that new earth that everybody is always talking about in New Age. Yes, because it symbolizes a new dream. We change over and turn over a new leaf where, we don't have the same people in power. We don't have that same type of timeline that has existed for a long time. We have been in this dream for a long time. We have basically been stuck in our own matrix that we have created. No one else outside of ourselves have created this except for ourselves. And when you realize that, you finally can awaken. So I want to read this to you because I think that Tolkien tapped into this and he knew this as well. So this is from the Silmarillion. This is in the very beginning. In the beginning, Eru, the One, who in the Elvish tongue is named Iluvatar, made the Ainur of his thought, and they made a great music before him. In this music the world was begun, for Iluvatar made visible the song of the Ainur, and they beheld it as a light in the darkness, and many among them became enamored of its beauty, and of its history which they saw beginning and unfolding as in a vision. Therefore Iluvatar gave to their vision being, and set it amid the void, and the secret fire was sent to burn at the heart of the world, and it was called Ea. Then those of the Ainur who desired it arose and entered into the world at the beginning of time, and it was their task to achieve it, and by their labors to fulfill the vision which they had seen. Long they labored in the regions of Ea, which are vast beyond the thought of elves and men, until in the time appointed was made Arda, the kingdom of earth. Then they put on the raiment of earth, and descended into it, and dwelt therein. So there we start to see that Tolkien saw the same idea. He awakened, and this is why he became a powerful enchanter on earth, or a powerful manifester. He called himself a sub-creator, meaning that he was a small creator on earth that was able to create a whole world that would open and awaken souls to their inner power and inner light. This is why I include his teachings so much on my channel, because there are secrets and wisdoms to awaken the true self inside. He knew that we all extend from one single source. And like the Ainur that kind of were the thought forms, we are all the thought forms from this single source. And we just forget. And so part of our enlightenment is just to remember and reawaken. And once we do, we then can choose how we decide to play out our lives. We are no longer controlled by outside external forces of those who are asleep around us. We then become the sub-creator, as Tolkien talked about. So that light that I was going in towards was my idea what God is. A sentient light force that creates all thought forms that appear as physical matter for a temporary time in the universe. To people all around the world, this has many different names, and also to pagans and those who divide, like the polytheists, they just divide that one source into many different sources to focus on particular aspects and qualities of that one source. One of the things about my near-death experience is that even though I did not go through that tunnel of light that I was talking about, and I made the choice to come back in order to be an alarm clock for others, in order to help awaken others to their true selves. We can change this dream. I'm tired of this old dream on earth. I want the new earth. So I'm part of that. And I know there's many other souls who are trying to push forth that new dream. I want to bring forth Avalon. I want to bring forth the realms of light, fairy onto earth. There's other people who are trying to create other things. But what I know is that I didn't go through that tunnel. I did not go into the light. But what I know deep inside, I want to tell you all the information that is stored inside of me now, because I came back and I gathered that information from the higher dimension. I know that as soon as I would have gone towards that light, I would have walked into a sphere, or simply just empty space, where I would hear all souls' voices in the universe talking simultaneously, but in their most loving and pure state of being. And I would be able to know all things from the past, from the beginning of dawn of time, all the way to the future of an ending of a species. And so I would have all this information in that state. And within that state of light, of being around all of this loving, sentient love force from all souls at their purest consciousness state, I would then get a choice to experience what it is that I wish to experience. So if I wanted to rest in that, I would probably be enjoying a beautiful place like a meadow or a valley, waterfalls, and living in this beautiful, peaceful state forever and ever with the people I love. That is heaven. That's what all the religious texts say that heaven is. It is whatever is in the soul of the being who believes what they see is heaven to them, because it just resonates with them. It is what they wish for. And everything that you can imagine happens in this place. It is the zero dimension. And I have a video called The Zero Dimension where I talk about all the different dimensions, and I kind of go through logically and systematically what happens with our consciousness. And the zero dimension is the place where we all are God. We all are the collective source, the prime creator. And so right now what we have playing in this world is a theme of where it's kind of like Star Trek. We have alien souls intermingling with human souls, because this is the way that we physically can get the signs and messages to transform our earth and to move into higher dimensions. We have to become that Star Trek type of story, I guess you can say. So some of us, like me and many others, have been awakened to this futuristic part of ourselves that can only be called as a starseed, that we are here on Earth as kind of a sleeper cell in a sense, where we have programmed in us the old memories of the future, of what can be attained in the future if humans kind of let go of their asleep nature towards power and materialism and ego separation. Starseeds are here to tell you that if you can let go of those things, you will have some really beautiful, more beneficial things for the future of humanity. That's what a starseed is. We are a part of the collective that separated itself and has played this role for others on Earth. That's what it is at the core. And some people really get into that identity and they take on different roles, where the planet that they came from, what their being looked like. You can get really into that. I kind of see things as like a whole picture. So I know that Tolkien was talking about higher selves within his stories, and the elves represented that higher mind of detachment from the material world. They represented that. And I know that the starseed soul part of me represents what I wish to see in the future for humanity. So together, those kind of work to form who I am. And every soul is such a unique reflection of the divine prime source. Because since the prime source that we all come from, since that beautiful light that we all come from, that I almost walked towards and ended my existence here, That beautiful light that we come from is infinite. So it has infinite perspectives, infinite reflections of itself. So everybody on earth is a snowflake. I know that term has been flying around. People are making fun of it. But no, everybody on earth is a special, unique snowflake. And once everybody starts to see that within themselves, they kind of live like the way that the Pleiadians are said to live, where people who have channeled them and have tapped into the Akashic records of the universe or the collective mind, they know that the Pleiadians work on barter and trade. There's no commerce. Corporations don't rule their world like it does on Earth, but instead the individual skills and abilities are actually looked at as special, as important, because every single one of us are looked at as special, unique reflections of the prime creator source. And I think that that's where we're heading. So I'm excited to help to be a voice for that, and I will continue to be as long as there is YouTube. YouTube is really a blessing for this because it's all part of awakening others. And, when you're hearing stories and you're connecting to videos, you really are awakening parts of yourselves. We really are just affirming parts of yourselves that you have kind of already tapped into or you have not yet tapped into. And this is really why a lot of people are making videos today. Some people might have other types of intentions, but I know that starseeds and light workers and those who have awakened, they take on the responsibility now to help awaken the others. And once we awaken everybody in the corners of the entire world, that is when we enter the new earth. That is what it's all about. I am adamant that everybody believes in the unity and the equality. That's why I speak so much out against the idea of chosen ones or the 144,000. No. We all have to see one another as God, as part of this collective, so we can change the dream together and not rely outside of ourselves. Because once you start to substitute personal responsibility and you put the blame on others, or you put the responsibility on others to do something, such as putting the responsibility on Jesus as a figurehead, you will not see action done, because this is our experience. We are it. We're doing all of this. So as soon as you start to put the personal responsibility onto Jesus, what ends up happening is you end up waiting forever. And no change ever comes because Jesus is inside of you. Jesus was a reflection of what humans truly can become when they become loving and when they become connected to the Father, to the prime source, the Father or Mother, whatever you want to see it. It is our mothership. It is our prime source that we are all connected to by our mind and through our heart. And when all the chakras align and you have that crown open up, as Jesus was said to have a crown thorn put on his head, that symbolizes the crown. But he was divinely connected to that source, and he was an example for humans. If everybody got in touch with their Jesus self, with their Christ consciousness within, that's when we change this dream forever. We no longer have to go back into that bloody past of mankind. We can now move on and become like the elves of the third age rather than the first and the second. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please read the Silmarillion. Because the elves in Lord of the Rings, they were peaceful beings, but they were not always like that. They had a lot to learn, just as humans do. And this is what the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and the Sirians represent. They represent the part of ourselves that is remembering and awakening and moving into a brighter future. We have been asleep for a very long time. This collective has been asleep for a very long time. Everybody who awakens, it is your responsibility to help awaken others. And this is what I learned. I learned all of this kind of going through the process of learning and revealing this to myself. But as soon as I came back from that near-death experience, I was like, wow, okay, this is confirmed. Yes, absolutely. Everybody is playing this role. that they choose. Now, you could choose to play a role unconsciously as, the murderers, the thieves, the pedophiles, all of the people that do evil in the world. They are choosing to play a role unconsciously, meaning they are letting external factors that happen to them, their emotional issues inside, basically control their desires and control their actions. But you can be a conscious creator, not an unconscious one, that you don't know what you're creating evil around you. You can be a conscious creator, and that is what it is time for humans to become. Conscious that they are creating their thoughts, and the energies that they are creating will create the reality around them. And once everybody on earth becomes conscious creators, I'm telling you, things are going to change for the better. They absolutely will. Why? Because I got a glimpse of what we truly are. On the other side of that tunnel, we are just loving sources of light and energy. And we just forget down here because we are so good at dreaming. We are so good at playing hide and seek because we are ultimately the creator. And when you get to be so good, well, you get too involved with the game. Time for the game to change. I wish everybody on earth could see my video, but I know not everybody will, because we're all at different levels of awakening and awareness within. But at least my subscribers and people who happen to pop onto this video, at least this affirms something within you, and then you take this information in your personal life and you become the Eru Iluvatar. You create those Ainurs, you create those thought forms that you wish to see and you wish to experience, and you stop feeling like you are a victim or you are trapped in your life. No, you are not, because one time I thought I was as well. And you create yourself how you wish to see. You want to be a unicorn soul? You want to be a pure symbolism of refinement, grace, and purity? Do so, because the world needs that. We need otherkins. We need those that connect to mythical images of themselves, fairies, elves. We need those. We need the realms of light on earth, because we've been in such a realm of darkness for a long time. It's time. So bring forth that true soul, whatever you are a reflection of in the divine, in the prime source. Bring that forward. Don't be afraid. This is our time to change. This is our time to do it. And I am really rooting for everybody to do so. I know that once I embraced my elven soul within, and I really connected to the vision that Tolkien had with his beings of light, this is when I truly started to take control of my life and started to manifest it in the ways that I see fit. And I truly, everything that I want, I have right now. I'm very appreciative of everything that I have. And at one point, I thought I lacked. I thought I didn't have everything that I wanted. But I do. And still more is to come. And that's the place that you're going to get at too. And once you do, life is just a beautiful, temporary experience to enjoy. And then you move on, as John Lennon said, into the next car, and then into the next life. And you get to experience yourself a whole new story of playing hide and seek until you have this realization of who you really are. So enjoy this life. This life is here for you to learn the true love that you truly are. And then you can experience that love with others as well. And it's a beautiful journey. And this is coming from a soul that has been abused. I have been through all of that. I have been in the dark cave. I've been through the shadow self. I wasn't always a perfect shining of light. I was in my shadow self. So I am now out of the cave, ready to bring forth the light that I wish to see in the world more. And I know that many other souls are joining quickly. whatever it may be, being that humans have been around for thousands of years and it's 2018, whatever it is, we're coming to an accumulation of souls starting to awaken. And it could probably only mean that we've been in this kind of nightmare for a long time. I mean, the Middle Ages, you think about all the bloody wars that we have been through. I'm pretty sure that the collective wants to witness another experience for the human species, wants to witness something brand new, where it's an intermingling of souls from other planets, where Earth is a convergence point where all souls meet. Who knows? But I have a feeling that we are due for a new dream, and I don't think that I'm alone in that feeling as well. When I worship God, because I still get to a place where I'm inside a quiet place in my mind, and when I get on the floor, and I really like to take the yoga position of bowing, I get into that resting pose, or sometimes I'll clasp my hands and I'll close my eyes. What I am praying to is the collective universal mind to awaken all souls. And I am actually sending out ripples of vibrations and energies to help them in their own lives, and whatever stage of awareness that they're at. I'm sending out kind of information or a prayer, which is basically just sending forth an affirmation, an energy blessing towards the souls that still are very much asleep on earth. So that is what I'm praying to now. I am praying to the collective source of everything. And my prayers consist of really nothing for myself, but really just for the world. I have everything that I want right now. If I do need strength because something happens in my life, and it makes me doubt and question and makes me play hide and seek again with myself, then of course I will pray for strength. But what I'm praying to is the collective. I'm praying to all of you. I am praying to everybody who doesn't have YouTube. I am praying to the entire universe, basically. And that is how I connect to the divine. So I do pray, but it's not to a source outside of myself. It's a source that's high above space and time, that is deep within me and deep within all of you. And I can recognize it. And that's why Namaste is such a beautiful word to me, because it means the truth. It means that I am an awakened soul. I can see and recognize another awakened soul. So if I say a namaste to you, just know that I mean it. And I wish I could find an Elvish word that would translate to namaste. I'm working on that, and I will definitely tell you if I ever discover that. But yes, that is what I believe God to be. That is my information from my near-death experience of what that light tunnel actually was. Take this information, and I just hope what it does is it just catapults you into a whole new journey. You write that book you always wanted to. You go for that job you always wanted to. You go for that girl or boy you always wanted to marry. You do something for yourself where you're not trapped in the matrix of your own earth prison, but actually are rising above it and seeing how you can take your energy and be a magical force and manifest what it is that you wish to see on earth. I believe everybody can. I believe when we all get to that point, we are going to live like the advanced souls of Tolkien's elves, or the Pleiadians, or the Arcturians, or the Syrians. And I cannot wait to see that. I am going to be 36 in March, so I still have some time on Earth to see what the future holds for humanity. And I'm very excited to see our future, because every day I see more and more souls awakening. So, namaste. And Hananle for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.